up rested and clueless than rested and anxious over a chart. So here's what works. Take the tracker off for 1 full week. Judge your rest by how your body actually feels. Along the same lines, if your sleep score is low, that doesn't necessarily mean your day is over when it starts either. Counting sheep sure beats counting stats. Join a million folks and get my free newsletter at getkim.com. Every business owner I speak to is asking the same question. How do I make AI work for my business? My answer, don't wait. Your competitors are already using AI to work smarter, move faster, and make better decisions. In fact, there's a saying that every day your business is late to AI, you fall 2 days behind. NetSuite by Oracle is the #1 AI-powered cloud ERP, trusted by more than 43,000 businesses. It brings your financials, inventory, commerce, HR, and CRM together in one system. And when everything is connected in one place, AI has the information it needs to help you make smarter decisions. Instead of relying on guesswork, you're working from real-time data across your business. How do I know? We're implementing NetSuite in my own business right now, and I can already see the impact it's having on how we operate. For the first time ever, you can try NetSuite Next for free. If your revenues are at least in the 7 figures, go to netsuite.com/Kim. Built for every industry, ready for every boardroom. netsuite.com/Kim.
Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show, is now everywhere you are. Talkback is now streaming live on X at Cenla Update, plus Facebook and YouTube at KSYL. It's Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show. Whether it's the guests or the callers, Talkback is where Central Louisiana begins its conversation.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Talkback. On this Monday, I'm Al Quartermont along with Stephen Maxwell. I feel like we have a little bit of like a news hangover today.
Do we have to? Do we have to do this?
Do we have to do what?
Talk about news.
But
I'll talk about sports for 2 hours.
I could probably do it. You know that I could.
Oh, I know it.
Yeah.
We wouldn't even get through the 2 years of the Brewers.
Well, I don't want to talk about the Brewers right now.
Tough times, huh?
Yeah, they lost 2 out of 3 to that team I won't mention to the South.
Oh, no.
You know what's so infuriating about it, though, is that the fans of that said team from Northern Illinois are so freaking obnoxious and annoying that Brewers fans won't go to those home games because they don't want to be around those people. So that brings in even more. So it feels like it's almost like home games for them rather than the Brewers. And yesterday was a game where the Brewers absolutely should have won, and they were stupid and lost. So that makes it even worse.
Jeez.
But, yeah. But, hey, on a better note, I did get to meet a former Brewer this weekend. Friday was the Celebrity Bowling Tournament over at Four Seasons for the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. And as has become the tradition, they have that tournament on Friday late morning, early afternoon, and have all the Hall of Famers there, past Hall of Famers as well. And it was a great turnout. It was a lot of fun. We had a Sunlight Broadcasting team. That was fun kind of playing there. I didn't know if I would play because I just don't have like the range of motion to be a good bowler anymore. Not that I ever was good, but you know what I'm saying? So I had to kind of figure out a new way to bowl. And actually did okay. Ended up
like a granny toss, or
no, just kind of like almost like a set shot for basketball. And started out struggling a little bit, but by the end, I actually ended up with a 105, which I know is pretty terrible bowling standards, but
sounded good to me.
But after it was over, I saw Warren Morris, and I was like, "How'd you bowl?" He said, "At least I got to 100." I'm like, "Well, what was your score?" He's like, 100. That's right. I beat Warren Morris in bowling. I am going to hang that laurel on my wall.
Man. Well, he wasn't trying, I'm sure.
I don't know. He was there with his wife and his daughters.
Well, that's good, man.
By the way, one of his daughters was wearing his Team USA jersey from the Olympics.
Wow.
And I was so jealous.
That's pretty cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, and they had, of course, the big ceremony Saturday night up in Natchitoches. Looked like it was a great time, great event. We weren't able to go because we had this other thing going on.
Yeah. The election, I guess, it happened.
Which we'll break it down ad nauseum coming up in a little bit, but want to kind of ease into that. Also in the sports world, we have the round of 32 now underway for World Cup. Is your wife excited?
We didn't really talk about it much yesterday.
Oh, really?
I'm not quite sure what's going on. If she doesn't tell me, I don't know.
Okay. So back to the Brewers then, if I can. So our star catcher is William Contreras. It's interesting because Jonathan Lucroy played for the Brewers, went to UL. He just got inducted into the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and had a chance to also meet him over at the bowling tournament. That was pretty cool. Got to talk some Brewers baseball with him. Really nice guy. Got a picture, autograph, all of that. So that was cool. They keep praising him, and probably rightly so, as the Brewers' all-time greatest catcher. There was some kind of thing that came out a while ago, maybe from The Athletic or something, where it ranked like the best players at every position for every team in Major League Baseball, like all time. So they had Lucroy as their catcher. Fair, valid. Team also had Ted Simmons for a while, but maybe didn't have the extended success the way Lucroy did. But right now, the Brewers' current catcher, William Contreras, to me, will probably go down as their best catcher of all time. And William is from Venezuela. So we know what Venezuela is going through right now. And why I love William Contreras is that he is just the most genuinely nice seeming guy out there. And he did an interview with Trisha Whitaker, who's normally the sideline reporter for the Tampa Bay Rays, but she also does Apple TV baseball. Did you know they do baseball games on Apple TV?
Oh, wow. No, I did not.
Yeah, it's annoying.
They're everywhere now. It's
annoying because a lot of people don't have subscriptions to Apple TV. It's like to watch any of your favorite teams these days. You got to have like 15 different subscriptions.
I don't know if it's fake news, but I saw maybe Paramount Plus is now the number one streaming service.
Is that right?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I saw that.
So Trisha interviewed William Contreras before the game Friday, and he was quite emotional because he has a lot of loved ones in Venezuela that are missing, and he's so burdened because he can't be there.
Mm-hmm.
So really two of the Brewers' best stars, William Contreras, Jackson Chourio, are from Venezuela, along with one of their coaches. And then in the game, that was Friday night, the Brewers beat the Cubs. William hit a massive home run in the game, and she interviewed him after the game. Well, he had all this stuff written on. He actually wore his chest protector and his catching gear from the gear that he wore at the World Baseball Classic,
mm-hmm.
which Venezuela, as you know, won. And he just like burst into tears while doing the interview afterward. Even like she started crying. And I was like, man, because it was just very emotional.
Yeah, we're talking about the earthquakes near Caracas in Venezuela, like 7.5 and a 7.2, I believe.
Yeah.
Thousands are going to probably be dead that they're going to find.
Yeah, they said 1,500 so far, but 50,000 are missing. Yeah. 50,000.
Well, when it first happened, there's this like geologist online, and he goes, there's a above like 45% chance it's going to range between 50,000 to 100,000 deaths, like just as it was happening. Like they have these statistics that show.
Wow.
And I'm like, that's insane.
That is.
But I was asking my wife because she's glued to her phone, checking the news like since it's happened, nonstop.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, help me understand. Like, I'm not trying to be rude. Like, this is great, and I think it's good to care. But, like, let's say I'm in Louisiana and something horrible like this happens in New Jersey. I'm going to care. I'll help out any way I can.
Mm-hmm.
But, like the nonstop emotional affliction is different, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what's the difference? She goes, because in Venezuela, we just know that we believe if we don't see this and get the word out, no one's going to care about them. Because they just feel like, their country's ruined before this.
Right.
They've been on their own and they don't have money, and we know why. But
yeah,
I was like, what's the difference? She's like, for example, she goes, I shared my cousin's thing and someone else saw it and was able to find somebody else for them, and So we feel like if we're not doing it, then no one else is going to do it. But it's just,
Mm.
it's a horrible dynamic, you know? So
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
scary stuff.
So the Brewers, their Venezuelan players are actually this whole week in Milwaukee. They've got a church that they've got it set up for people to come and bring donations of anything that can aid in relief efforts, and then they're going to pay to get it all shipped down there.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. I mean, there are a lot of Venezuelan players in Major League Baseball. I just mentioned two of them, but I mean, every team's probably got 2, 3, 4 guys that are from Venezuela. It's absolutely incredible, their level of talent, as we saw at the WBC.
They, she just showed me like videos and pictures. People are just sleeping on the streets, a street over from just dead bodies on the streets. Like there's just nowhere for people to go.
Yeah.
And this happened in the biggest city,
Yeah.
metropolitan area of Venezuela.
Yeah, and when you look at the human tragedy right now, you can't control natural disasters. But what you can control are years of corrupt government that have come ever since Venezuela became a socialist country. And it just points to, once again, what we've seen all around the world. Wherever socialism takes root, it's a cancer that ultimately destroys. So when you talk about an earthquake and why this is potentially going to be 50 to 100,000 people dead, it's because, number one, you don't have quality buildings. Why would you? There's no profit incentive. Why are you going to build something good? Secondly, you don't have the support services. There are virtually no emergency services to respond in a situation like that. And yet, here we are in America, and I can't put my head around this. The break in America right now in some of these major cities towards this blatantly leftist socialism, which is really communism, it's just impossible to fathom, other than it's been years of indoctrination. I could go on for the whole hour about this, but
it's just an ideology rooted in resentment and jealousy, let's be honest.
Yep,
And
100%.
once those take over, it's kind of hard to get out of that funk, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It takes a lot of waking up or some hard lessons.
Yep.
But yeah, that's the thing in Venezuela. We were just looking at videos. She goes, look, there's like no ambulances. There's no one to respond to this.
Right.
And she was showing me a video again. There were some like U.S. Marines down there, or like former Marines that were trying to help.
Yeah.
And like one of the main military leaders were like turning him away. Like, we don't want you to do this, because this is what she's saying, because I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, the military there is stealing people's stuff out of people's houses. They've already caught a bajillion people trying to take children who have no families for human trafficking. There's a video of them just frankly beating the crap out of one guy who was trying to do it, some other people. Like there's just horrible things happening as a result of this.
Yep.
Because there's no rule of law or order or resources.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's pretty tough stuff.
I mean, really what it defaults to is the ultimate depraved example of survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
Because, we live in a country where generally people have been raised with an attitude of do what you can to help your neighbor. And we've seen, where this has happened. Even just recently with the flooding in Avoyelles Parish, people will want to come and help and donate money and donate stuff and whatever they can do. And we saw that after Hurricane Katrina, and we've seen it in so many aspects. But a country like Venezuela, because of how it's been socialized into socialism, you don't have enough of that anymore. And I just don't want to see us lose that here. And I'm honestly very, very concerned about what's going on. And everyone should be, because I feel like a lot of Americans are just sort of in this malaise of, it'll all be okay. Why go vote? Like in New York, all these people getting swept in with like only 10% of people showing up to vote. And are we any better here in Louisiana? No.
I mean, I always just look back to whenever and I have a lot of issues with the healthcare system. Most Americans do in America. But when that guy shot Luigi Mangione shot the United Healthcare CEO, and like felt like the majority of social media was just like, oh well, like, good job.
Yeah, what has happened?
And a lot of us are morally depraved, I feel like, and we can go back to a lot of other things I think are the cause of that. You said indoctrination, the lack of family structure too for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of when you're missing the moral standard, which would be some sort of religion, and we talk about Judeo-Christian values all the time. You just don't have it, and you kind of see the result of that. It's tough. But yeah, I don't think we're gonna have a socialist president yet, but we could one day before you're dead if we're not careful.
Yeah. It's weird because normally politics is something I've always followed, watched, been interested in, at least probably since I turned about 30 years old and really started to kind of follow it at that point. But this is something different. This is something, and even looking at President Trump's post over the weekend, he is framing this next election as really America versus communism, because the Democrats are in trouble. I'm talking about establishment Democrats. These extreme communist leftists are coming for you first, and then they'll come for the rest of the country. And you're the people that put them in there. You're the ones that set them up. You're the ones that have created this, and now it's your mess.
This could have happened earlier. It's just the Democrat Party rigged their primary against Bernie Sanders.
Yep.
It should have happened in 2016.
That's so true.
I don't know if he would have won.
No.
But
yeah.
They kind of got the kibosh there, to be honest with you. So this has been happening for a while.
And Sanders is the epitome of why socialism is awful. Because while he preaches all this, he himself is a gross example of taking advantage of the system and ingratiating himself. And that's what socialism will ultimately get you, just like Chavez family down in Venezuela.
He would say it's my humble second home on the beach and wherever, and they have them in the Northeast. I'm worried about the billionaires and the quadrillionaires.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Just the billionaires they don't like. They love the Soros billionaires who have spent already a ton of money on the elections in this country. But anyway, we need to take a break. We got calls coming in. We'll get to you when we come back. It won't be a long break. So stay
we're going to talk about baseball.
How many did I miss?
KSYL.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Gasoline prices continue to drop. According to AAA, the average price for unleaded has now fallen to $3.86 a gallon. That represents a decline of a little more than 12% over the last month. The average price a year ago stood at $3.19 a gallon. Oil has erased almost all of its gains since the U.S. and Israel first attacked Iran at the end of February. Solid gains for stocks this morning as the U.S. and Iran are set to resume talks. We're also tracking shares of Comcast, which are surging 22% in early trading after the cable giant announced it's spinning off NBC Universal into a new company. Shares of Microsoft are heading for their worst month since the dot-com era. Investors continue to worry how the software giant will fare in a world marked by artificial intelligence. The stock is down 17% since June, putting it on course for its worst monthly showing since December 2000. The sell-off has erased more than $570 billion in market value. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Good morning. Some clouds to start us out this morning. They'll give way to sunny skies later on today. Afternoon highs near 95 degrees. That heat index possibly as high as 103 to 105. Be careful if you have to be out in that. Winds out of the south-southeast, by the way, at about 5 to 10. Clear skies tonight. We'll get down to 74. And on Tuesday, no major changes. Sunny, hot, and humid with the afternoon high temperatures near 95. From the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Grayson.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BON Bank Talk line at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BON Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
Now back to Talk Back, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYL.
All right, that's a fitting song for this morning. Living in America, James Brown, which was from what, Rocky IV? Rocky
Oh,
IV.
dude, I can't tell you.
Pretty sure. All right, 318-442-8255 is our number on the BOM Bank talk line. By the way, coming up at 8:05, Senator John Kennedy is scheduled to call in, so we'll look forward to that. And then at 8:20, retired Army Colonel Mark Carey will be with us in the studio. If you were with us last week when Dr. Correll was on from LSUA, he mentioned that in the works, apparently, are plans to have a Louisiana Maneuvers Museum out at LSUA. So apparently Mr. Carey is involved in that, and he's going to give us more details. So in the meantime, let's go to the phones. Thank you for waiting. You're on Talkback.
Yeah, I just called to confirm it was Rocky IV. That was right before Apollo Creed got killed in the ring.
I remember. Yeah.
James Brown.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen much social media traffic after the weekend's election from Republicans saying, "Oh well, I guess I'm just going to vote Democrat now"?
I've seen a bunch of
thing
that
right now.
Yeah.
that's a
Yep.
lot.
Yes.
And I know Dan Bongino is probably listening to you guys right now, so I want to plagiarize him. He's frequently saying, he says, while the Republicans may not have all the solutions to your problems, I can promise you the Democrats are the source of all of your problems.
Mm-hmm.
So for all of my Republican brethren out there that would consider voting Democratic just because Fleming didn't make it, I would urge you to educate yourself a little bit about what these people want and the dire consequences to this country if they should gain control of the Senate.
Yes.
I mean, it's not a decision to make.
Right.
We don't always have the most ideal candidate we would have wanted, but you cannot, in good conscience, do that. I mean, just please educate yourself, get informed. You've got a lot of time to do that, and we just can't have that. So I wanted to send that message out there, and I'll pay Dan a royalty. Have a good day, guys.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. No, he's 100% right. I'm seeing a lot of that, too. We even had that during our live stream on Saturday. If you were with us or maybe you were doing other things, but we did a live election night show here on KSYL from 8 to 10. And in our live stream, as soon as it was pretty much evident that Letlow was going to defeat John Fleming, there were a lot of people on there saying, I'm voting for Jamie Davis. Davis is the farmer from, is it Tensas Parish, who won the Democrat primary. And he says a lot of good things. Yeah, he does. And I can see some just sort of knee-jerk reaction why people were like, oh, I'd rather vote for that guy than for Julia Letlow. But what our callers said, I think, is what will ultimately, hopefully, maybe, probably win out. That even though you're probably going to be disappointed on a lot of levels with Julia Letlow, the alternative, especially if the Democrats were to gain the Senate, yeah, he makes a good point. But, we'll see. We'll see. I understand why people are upset because they feel like Letlow is going to be kind of this latest version of Republican senators who are not really strong in conservative areas like they would want them to be.
But then again, just devil's advocate, she was endorsed by the president heavily.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the fervor you're hearing out here is because of carbon capture.
Yes.
And you're seeing a lot of these pages share Jamie Davis's stance on carbon capture, which he says he's against it. So maybe that could sway some voters out here who, a lot of them were voting for Fleming for that main reason.
Right.
So you could see some switch, but I just can't imagine it being enough statewide to beat her. You never know.
And I looked at the numbers yesterday, and we'll get to that before the top of the hour. Let's go to some more calls, though, as they're waiting. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Hey, good morning. Thank you for taking my call. We had an interesting thing happen yesterday at church. Right after the service started, two men came in and that we'd never seen before. And they visited, and we had a good time. And then when the services were over, we went to, as you do with visitors, you go introduce yourself. And they were from Samaritan's Purse. One was from Ohio, and one was from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. And they were looking for a worship service on Sunday. They were staying at the church in Hesmer, and they, came out and so, we were all inquisitive of, what all they were doing, and they were telling us. And, but he said something interesting. He said the average age of a volunteer for Samaritan's Purse is 65.
Wow.
65 years old. Those guys are down there. They're pulling out sheetrock, and he said their main job is to get in and pull out as much of the stuff as they can to prep it for the workers that are going to come in and set up these people to get back in their houses. Mm-hmm. And I was reminded of that when y'all were talking before. It's a generational thing. Americans give more than anyone else to help others. We always have. And that's because of our Christian foundation, our bedrock of the Christian worldview. But the younger generations the Democrats the leftists have been so successful at expunging Christian thought from the educational system that the generations coming up don't have that foundation. And it gets to where something you said the other day, Al, last week, I think you said, we're coming to a point where people do whatever's right in their own eyes. That guy, Luigi Mangione, shot that guy because he was mad at the healthcare system. We have the greatest healthcare system in the world. The problem is government. And it goes back to what the last caller said. The problem in our healthcare system is that the government is too involved. And so they are the source of the problem. And so going to them would be ludicrous. So anyways, we have to educate the younger generation. We have to educate the younger people. And I'm thankful that there are a lot of them like Stephen who do understand. But, man, there's a lot of them that are just ignorant on history stuff. And that ignorance is coupled with an arrogance that we know what's better. And if you don't agree with us, then we don't mind hitting you, and that does not bode well for our future. And I heard some Democrats on Facebook, was listening to some that are now getting scared. They're James Carville, he had did y'all see his thing? Yeah. He was big on it, but I saw others whose names I didn't know. So that was a good thing. But they're scared, and we've seen it come building up. You remember when Nancy Pelosi had that town hall meeting and she lost control of it? People were shouting her down, booing her because of Palestinian stuff. Well, we've seen it coming for decades, but now it's here. And so the last caller was spot on. We don't have a resistance party. We have an anti-American party. And so, yeah, I made a comment last week that maybe we need a Democrat governor because of Jeff Landry. But in light of the recent events, and the shock of seeing all these people on Facebook saying, yeah, I'm not going to vote Republican. I'm thinking, we have to. I said, there's nothing. Abortion sealed it for me. But now that we're at this anti-American stuff, there's no way I could not vote for Julia Lutlow. She's bad. She's terrible. But I'll hold my nose and I'll vote for the Republican Party so that we can have the debate in the Republican Party and not give a chance. Another senator, would be catastrophic at this time. Anyways, I don't want too long. Thanks. Y'all have a great day.
Yep. Thanks so much.
I would say the average age for a volunteer would probably be that high because, most of us have to
retire.
We can't go out and go to out of state for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But the Samaritan Purse is awesome. And thank you for them for coming. They're great.
Yeah, my former student, and she worked for me at the TV station. Grace Carson works for Samaritan's Purse.
Oh, that's right.
Remember her?
Yeah.
I saw she posted over the weekend a picture of them loading a plane, getting ready to go.
Wow.
So I don't know if she's going to be with them, but she's gone on a lot of pretty.
My wife said she was going to Venezuela.
That's what I meant.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant Avoyelles. I was like, okay.
No.
Okay.
Venezuela.
Yeah. That makes they do good work, and there's a lot of great organizations from America who are trying to get there.
Yeah. Yep.
It's tough, but the older age makes kind of sense. I think there's a lot of young people who would love to go somewhere for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I would just get fired. But I can send monetary help. I can donate and all those types of things. But
yeah.
Yep. If you watch, if you really want to understand and try and figure out what's going on there's like YouTube channels like the Young Turks and others that they're a little less like progressive, like the angry progressive that you see a lot of the times. But they're trying to start a movement to overthrow the Democrat Party.
Yeah.
And it's more of that progressive, more government control.
Yeah.
But they don't, I mean, it's not like we're evil. Like, you should just hear them out and see what they're saying. It's that same populist movement with, I think it's going to have worse outcomes than a MAGA movement, but it's that same thing happening right now. And you can kind of understand what's going on.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. We need to take another break. We'll get more calls on the other side.
Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show, is now everywhere you are. Talkback is now streaming live on X at Cenla Update, plus Facebook and YouTube at KSYL.
Problems. Everybody hates them, but everybody's got them. And now that it's getting hot again, you need to know about Southern Air Heating and Cooling. Got a cooling problem? Call Southern Air. Plumbing or drain problem? It's Southern Air again. Your power's out and you need a generator? Guess who? And keep those problems away all summer long with a system tune-up. Keep your family comfortable. Call Southern Air Heating and Cooling now at 318-777-5555 or visit us online at southernairnow.com.
You don't have to drive hundreds of miles to have a great vacation.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser, inviting you to explore all the great destinations right here in Louisiana.
From stunning natural beauty, campsites with unforgettable views, rich history, and flavors and sounds that feed your soul. You'll find all this right here in Louisiana. Go to LouisianaStaycation.com and start planning your trip today.
What's everybody talking about? Find out from Cenla Updates with Cenla Broadcasting. Fast, focused news from me, Stephen Maxwell, powered by Cenla Broadcasting. Follow Cenla Broadcasting on Facebook. It's your Cenla Update. Local news that hits first and hits different.
It's Talkback, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
All right, we're back. Alan Stephen with you, and back to the phones we go. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
A couple of things as sports. Have you ever thought about having Coach O on some morning, talk about his new job and make predictions for this fall?
Have I ever thought about it? No, not really, but I guess we could try.
Yeah, that'd be something to hear from him. Another thing, when Senator Kennedy comes on, if you could ask him what he thinks about maybe taking over Senator Thune's position, if he would want to do that.
Yeah,
that's what we need.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Y'all have a good day.
Thanks. Yeah, and the Senator Thune thing, for people probably not on X, don't know much about this, but there's a guy named Scott Pressler. He's a MAGA political activist. And he's the guy who really helped to secure election wins in 2024 in Pennsylvania. He goes to a state, helps work with local organizations to get out the vote. And he has done this even in Texas in the John Cornyn race. And he was in South Dakota on Friday, I think it was, for an event there that it was a ticketed event, and they wouldn't let him in. And the sergeant of arms was basically mocking him on his video, even used a profanity toward him. Well, that guy ended up getting fired the next day by the South Dakota GOP. But it's all relating back to Thune and his lack of urgency to pass the SAVE Act. And I saw Senator Kennedy was asked about it.
Anthony Bourdain was.
Yes, Anthony Bourdain. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's great. He had the show where he would travel around and eat the local food in different places.
Yep.
I love that show. But anyway, one episode, he went down to Haiti about 2 years after the earthquake. And, there were people still buried under rubble after 2 years. And so they wanted to try local food. And they don't have restaurants, so the only food they had was this lady sitting in the dirt cooking rice and chicken.
Wow.
And so they tried that, and hundreds when they were eating their food, talking about that lady cooking, hundreds and hundreds of people were just sitting around watching them eat. They were starving.
Yeah.
And they drove around Port-au-Prince and other places. And they showed the devastation still left over from the earthquake.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I noticed about that place is I didn't see a single garden.
Single garden?
Yeah,
Yeah.
not one.
Interesting.
You know, with all that sunshine and that volcanic soil, that'd be a great place to go garden.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, and we know how bad Haiti is. I mean, it's amazing. You look at the Dominican Republic, same island, much better country. It's just, again, back to awful government and the people that are produced as a result of that. So, yeah, thanks for the call. And speaking of which, Supreme Court on Friday, I think it was, ruled that the president does have the power to deport people who are here from Syria and Haiti. But then Mondami came out and said that he wants to make New York a refuge city for those people, in open defiance of the Supreme Court and the president. That just can't stand. I'm sorry. It can't. You can't let that stand. So we'll see what happens next. But I have to read this post. This one just spoke to me so much over the weekend. An X account, I love the name sometimes, Flopping Aces. He's a retired Marine. He said, the Democratic establishment really deserves a slow clap here. Really, bravo. They spent years building the perfect little political terrarium. NGOs, activist salaries, university grievance factories, donor cash, media protection, blue city patronage, equity rackets, taxpayer-funded do-gooder laundromats, all humming along under the sacred banner of our democracy. Then they looked at the radicals crawling around inside and said, surely these people will remain manageable. Absolutely brilliant, guys. Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries now look like little substitute teachers trying to take attendance during a prison riot. The donors are sweating through their custom suits. Their consultants are pretending this is just a messaging challenge. The media is polishing the same old turd and calling it youth energy. No, champ, it's not the youth energy. This is the bill. You told them America was evil. You told them capitalism was theft. You've told them that police are the enemy. You told them borders are immoral. You told them every institution had to be decolonized, reimagined, or burned down and rebuilt by people with sociology degrees and untreated rage. Now they believe you. And worse, they want promotions. That's the humiliation. The party bosses thought they were renting radicals by the hour. Turns out the radicals thought they were being trained to run the place. Democrats built the hive, fed the hive, defended the hive, and called anyone who noticed a conspiracy theorist. And now the hive has keys. Enjoy the buzzing. We'll be right back.
Taking part in the show is easy. Call the BOM Bank Talk line at 442-8255.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And right now, new mattresses start at $1,500 during our 4th of July sale. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Hi, I'm Nancy Landry. Louisiana's elections are an important part of who we are. In 2026, closed party primaries will change how some of those elections happen, so you'll want to know what to do. Keeping your registration current ensures you'll get the right party-based ballot. Remember, this change only applies to certain offices. To learn more, visit govote.com or download the GoVote app. Know before you go.
A small business affirmation from Progressive. Plumbers, today will be a good day. You will be profitable. Your clients will be nice. No one will stand over you and tell you how to fix the thing they actually hired you to fix. You will also feel at peace after switching to Progressive, America's #1 commercial auto insurer. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, #1 commercial auto insurer from the NAIC's 2024 National Premium Data.
I've been burned before. I was just repeating the same patterns. It turns out I had a type.
Workplaces everywhere are looking for love. And by love, we mean the easy way to order food at work. Easy Cater.
I thought ordering from great restaurants at work had to be complicated, but then I met Easy Cater. So many options, so flexible, and when I ordered for 50 gluten-free vegans without going over budget, I knew I'd found the platform I wanted to do life and lunch with.
Fall in love with Easy Cater. Start an order at easycater.com.
Now back to Talk Back, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
I am filled with so much gratitude to each and every one of you who came out. President Trump, thank you for encouraging me to get in this race. Thank you for your endorsement. Louisiana loves you. Now, I knew it was going to be a tough race, and it was. It was filled with trials. But I'm so proud to say that I am truly battle tested for November 3rd, and we are going to go win this thing.
All right, that was Julia Latlow following her primary victory Saturday night over John Fleming. If you didn't see the numbers, let me get those for you here. The final vote totals, Latlow ended up with 179,000, almost 180,000, 57% to 43% for Fleming, who had 136,000. On the Democrat side, Jamie Davis, 156,000. Total, there were 316,000 Republican votes. There were 196,000 Democrat votes. Both of those numbers down significantly from what we had in May with the first primary race. So we'll break down the numbers a little bit more, but let's go back to another call. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Well, after Saturday night, I have what I call my principles, and I can't vote for the Republican candidate, and I likely won't vote for the Democrat. There may be another option other than not to vote for anybody.
Yeah, you'll have more candidates on the ballot because you'll have like libertarian candidates and people like that. You'll have other choices if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, well, I just can't book the campaign that the Republican winner supported.
Yeah, I get it. I think a lot of people are with you there.
Yeah, well, thanks for the coverage. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you, too. And I did want to get to this for the top of the hour, just looking at some of the numbers, Stephen. I was looking at the parishes that Fleming won, included a lot of central Louisiana. Allen, Beauregard, Grant, Natchitoches, Rapides, Sabine, Vernon. But other than Rapides Parish, which he won 55 to 45%, most of those parishes have pretty small populations. And yet, even in Bossier Parish and Caddo Parish, really close, there was actually an exact tie in Bossier Parish. Both candidates ended up with 4,351. Latlow actually won Caddo Parish, 52 to 48%. East Baton Rouge was close, but Latlow won there, 51 to 49%. Lafayette was close, 51 to 49%. Latlow's biggest wins, though, that really put her over the top would have been Jefferson Parish, where she had 16,000 votes to about 9,700 for Fleming. St. Tammany Parish, 20,000 votes to 11,000 for Fleming. So the point is she won a lot of those kind of larger parishes, even though Fleming had some significant hold in some parishes, for sure.
So he didn't win his home parish either.
Which is Caddo, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it is.
He did not.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. So a lot of people are wondering, like, what's next for Fleming? I saw one article speculating that you might see next year that Landry will put up a candidate against him for state treasurer. So we'll see.
We will see.
Yeah.
But it was, I thought it was going to be a little bit closer. I've had to put money on it. But,
I did too.
You know, a lot of the issues that we think or a lot of people think here are important, or something that the rest of the state's probably not talking a whole lot about yet.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And I think, we said this Saturday night, at the end of the day, the Trump endorsement, I think, held a lot for her.
Well, pretty much everything right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So, come November, we'll see. Yeah, there are definitely people out there that are saying there's no way they're going to vote for her, even though they're conservative, even though they're Republican. And like I said to our last caller, I get it. I understand. We'll see what the dynamics look like. But I think in a larger way, when we see what's at stake for our whole country right now, it may actually be a situation where people can't afford to vote for a Republican, even if it's not the Republican that they want. So we shall see. But we got more coming up in hour number 2. Again, Senator John Kennedy will be with us. And then coming up at about 8:20, we'll talk with Mark Carey about potential Louisiana Maneuvers Museum out at LSUA. So thanks for being with us. More coming up.
You've been listening to Talkback. The opinions expressed were those of the hosts and callers, and not necessarily those of Cenla Broadcasting. AM 970, FM 104.9, KSYL, and KRRV 100.3 HD3, Alexandria. It's 8 o'clock.
He says Iran has requested a meeting. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, and President Trump on Truth Social wrote it'll be tomorrow in Qatar, though an Iranian official denies that. The president also again posted Iran will not have a nuclear weapon, and White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt just told Fox.
The president obviously wants to see the peace process play out, and the Iranians would be best to sign a good deal with the United States of America because the president has proven he's unafraid to use the might of our military.
Over the weekend, 60 members of Iran's Assembly of Experts released a statement saying Iran's nuclear rights must not be subject to discussion or dispute. This government body also threatened President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, saying they must be brought to justice.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv.
The Assembly of Experts speaks on behalf of Iran's supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei. This is the body that actually elects the supreme leader inside of Iran.
They keep digging through earthquake rubble in Venezuela, which keeps getting rattled.
Rescue workers still doing their thing this morning, which is dangerous because we had yet another aftershock.
Fox's Nate Foy in a badly damaged city. More survivors found over the weekend.
Rescue teams are on the ground from Virginia, California, and Florida. They're working with the State Department, and so is the U.S. military. 130 Marines are arriving here in La Guaira to help reopen the port so that badly needed supplies can reach the most devastated areas.
The number of deaths tops 1,400. Thousands remain missing. An uncontained wildfire keeps raging in Utah. It's burned 145 square miles. Another fire across the border in Colorado killed 3 firefighters over the weekend, injured 2 more. In Kentucky, as Fox's Tanya J. Powers reports, a drastically different problem.
Record amounts of rainfall resulted in catastrophic flooding and 4 deaths across Kentucky, prompting dozens of water rescues and evacuations. Governor Andy Beshear issued a warning for travelers on Sunday.
Bridges have been wiped out, entire roads have been wiped away, and there is still standing and moving water.
America's listening to Fox News.
We wouldn't be celebrating America 250 if it wasn't for a strong foundation set by the framers. Hamilton built America's financial foundation on sound money, later embodied by the gold standard. But we abandoned that discipline in 1971 and have seen inflation erode the dollar's value. What's the foundation of your saving? Is it gold or something that can be devalued? Hi, it's Dr. Ron Paul, and I encourage you to speak with my friends at Birch Gold Group about diversifying an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in gold. Learn more by requesting a free info kit on gold IRAs. Just text the word SHELTER to the number 989898. Let Birch Gold help you build your foundation with gold. Text the word SHELTER to the number 989898. Text SHELTER to 989898.
Luigi Mangione returns to court today in New York City for a hearing in the federal case against the accused killer of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, who was murdered in 2024 outside a hotel in Manhattan.
Today's hearing before a federal judge in New York is meant to discuss trial logistics. And ahead of the hearing, both prosecutors and attorneys for Luigi Mangione wrote that they were prepared to discuss potential juror questionnaires and scheduling. But last week, there was a report that Mangione's team had engaged in talks over a potential plea deal with federal prosecutors. Attorneys for Mangione said information like this, attributed to anonymous sources, was part of a troubling, deliberate pattern by prosecutors and law enforcement to create prejudice against Mangione and manipulate public opinion. Mangione's pled not guilty to both state and federal charges. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Alec Murdaugh also returns to court this morning in South Carolina for a hearing before his retrial after the state Supreme Court overturned his murder convictions and life sentence in the killings of his wife Maggie and son Paul in 2021, citing jury tampering. On Wall Street, stocks may rise to start the week. Dow futures up more than 200 points, 300 plus for the NASDAQ. At the movies, Woody and Buzz remain atop the box office, fending off a super challenge.
Supergirl failed to soar, opening to just $38 million domestically and $68 million worldwide.
This does not look like this is going to end well for you guys.
It's a disappointing debut for the big-budget DC superhero film, which cost roughly $170 million to make. And the winner, and still champ for a second straight weekend, is Toy Story 5.
You got a friend.
The Disney Pixar sequel pulled in $70 million in North America and nearly $160 million worldwide, and it puts it on pace to become one of the year's biggest hits. Carmen Roberts, Fox News.
At the World Cup, Canada, the first team to advance to the round of 16, knocking out South Africa. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Louisiana Radio Network, I'm John Burns. Governor Landry has used his line item veto power to slash $12 million from 3 budget bills. Here's Jeff Palermo.
The governor vetoed 78 projects across the 3 bills. Melinda DeLotte with the Public Affairs Research Council says most of those vetoes targeted Democratic districts, with about half being in New Orleans.
There are some spread out across Caddo, in the Lake Charles area, in the Monroe area.
Usually when Landry vetoes a bill, he drafts a letter explaining why he vetoed it. DeLotte says in this case, Landry's approach leaves people speculating over his reasons.
There is no real explanation of the process that Governor Landry used or the approach he took.
I'm Jeff Palermo.
LSU Health Shreveport received a grant of over $200,000 to research heat-related illnesses in high school athletes, which Associate Professor Dr. Corey Kuhorn says is a major problem, especially in the South and in football players.
Because the main way that we cool down is we sweat and then it evaporates into the environment. Football gear prevents that.
LRN. U.S. Representative Julia Letlow won the Republican primary in the U.S. Senate race Saturday, taking 57% of the vote to defeat State Treasurer John Fleming. Letlow, who served in the U.S. House since 2021, is now one step closer to replacing outgoing Senator Bill Cassidy.
I will fight for our families. I'll fight for our farmers. I'll fight for our teachers. I will fight for our parents. I'll fight for our law enforcement. I will fight for everyone in this room.
Letlow will face off November 3rd with Tensas Parish crop farmer Jamie Davis, who easily won the Democratic Party nomination, receiving 80% of the vote to defeat Gary Crockett. Davis says Letlow has voted for policies that have made it harder on Louisiana families.
When you vote for laws that raise costs, threaten to close hospitals, and send billions overseas to fight wars that Congress didn't authorize, while telling hardworking Americans they need to pay more for gas and groceries, when you put party before the people, you shouldn't ask for a promotion.
LRN.
In Central Louisiana, when you're talking great food, you're talking Southern Creations Country Lunch Buffet. At the base of the Jackson Street Bridge in Pineville, this Best of the Best award-winning lunch buffet is remarkable, featuring their signature fried chicken every day, an awesome variety of menu choices, and homemade desserts, including the now famous white chocolate bread pudding. No one does lunch better. Come have lunch with a friend or a group at Southern Creations. Daily menus posted on Facebook.
Good morning. Some clouds to start us out this morning. They'll give way to sunny skies later on today. Afternoon highs near 95 degrees. That heat index possibly as high as 103 to 105. Be careful if you have to be out in that. Winds out of the south-southeast, by the way, at about 5 to 10. Clear skies tonight. We'll get down to 74. And on Tuesday, no major changes. Sunny, hot, and humid with the afternoon high temperatures near 95. From the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Grayson. It's Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show. Whether it's the guests or the callers, Talkback is where Central Louisiana begins its conversation.
And we are back. Hour number 2 of Talkback here on your Monday. Al Quartermont, Stephen Maxwell, thanks so much for being with us. And very pleased to get a chance to talk with our U.S. Senator John Kennedy. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Al. Morning, Stephen.
Morning.
All right, let me get your reaction, first of all, to the Saturday's election results. Julia Letlow winning the Republican primary will now face Jamie Davis. What are your thoughts?
Well, they're both good people. I'm congratulating Julia. She ran a strong campaign. So did John. Having President Trump's endorsement helped, but Julia really worked hard, and I'm looking forward to serving with her. She's got one more election, so you can't take anything for granted, and we'll be ready, bring on November. But I endorsed her yesterday, and I'm going to probably call her tonight. I didn't want to call her the first thing, give her a little chance to come up for breath. But I'm going to call John Fleming too. They're both good people.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot on social media posts and even some calls here. People that are Republicans and conservatives saying that they don't feel like they can vote for her in the runoff or the general election. And I think a lot of that has to do with the carbon capture issue. What would you say to those people to maybe convince them to think otherwise?
I would tell them that sometimes, not always, but sometimes people lie on social media. They just don't tell the truth. And so you have to take it with a grain of salt. Do your own research. The carbon capture issue, in one sense, is a federal issue, but it's primarily a state issue. Mm-hmm. And what concerns me the most about carbon capture is this idea of, under state law, the people who want to drill the well can expropriate your property to do it. Now, that was all news to me. I didn't know that was the law until I saw the folks in the legislature trying to change it, and I don't like that. I mean, if you want a carbon capture well on your property, that's your business. Hope you get a big check. But if you don't, they shouldn't be able to come in and take your property. And I doubt very seriously you'll see many elected officials support that once they have to focus on it. But sure. I don't know. I've never talked to Julia, or I've never talked to John Fleming about it either. But I know where John stands from the media. I've never talked to Julia about it, but I know where I stand. And if they start taking people's property, these carbon capture wells are like they're in pipelines. Mm-hmm. They're like they're like anything else. I mean, it's your property. And if you want them there, great. And your neighbors are okay, but they can't just go into a community and take over the community. It's just not right. People have to welcome them. This is still America.
We've been seeing some national elections the past couple of months. The Democrat Socialist Party winning some elections, most recently some congressional races over in New York. Your thoughts on that movement?
Well, really crazy is rare. Among these new Democratic Socialists is commonplace. Mm-hmm. These folks are looking the American people in the eye and saying, we want to get rid of all cops. We want to completely open the border. We want to get rid of all prisons. We want to tax the rich, and we get to define what rich means. We know we ought to feel gratitude for America, they're saying to the American people, but we feel contempt. They're saying that this is a racist country, and they're expecting people to vote for it. Now, look, that may work in certain parts of New York City. Obviously, it did. 3 of them got elected. And Mayor Mamdani, it may have worked for him citywide. That's in New York City. But that's not going to work in America, in the America I know. Nor should it. Now, these people are entitled to their opinion. This is America. You can believe what you want. But I'm entitled to my opinion, too. And I just think these people are about 10 exits past normal. And they said, well, socialism's great. Well, then go live in Cuba. Have at it, you know. You would have loved the former Argentina before we helped change the government there, and Venezuela. You would have loved the former Soviet Union if you think totalitarianism in socialism is great. Go to China. See how you like it. See how you like living with a camera in your bathroom, in your bedroom, in your living room, and everywhere, in your dressing room, and everywhere you go. So that's my feeling about it, and I think ultimately, except in some certain spots, it'll be rejected. But I'm going to tell you something: the Democratic Party is going to have to. They're going to have to decide whether they're going to let these nuts run the show or not.
It almost feels like it's too late that they're coming to take over.
Well, I know they don't have it, and you may be right, but I know they don't have an answer because I listened to yesterday morning. I think it might have been a tape show, but anyway, I listened to Senator Warnock from Georgia on one of the shows. I think it was a CNN show, and they asked him, what he thinks about all this. And Raphael is a smart guy, and he's a preacher. He's good on his feet, and he dodged and bobbed and weaved and stalled and restalled, and he didn't want to answer the question, which tells me they don't have an answer. And he finally admitted, he said, well, we have to have police in an ordered society. Well, no kidding. So I don't think the Democrats know what to do, but they better stop them.
Yeah.
Senator, from a selfish point of, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
From a selfish point of, I was just going to say, I'm talking too much, guys. From a selfish point of view, I should be happy because it's great for Republicans, but it's bad for the country.
Yeah, 100%. So at the same time, one issue that I think is becoming white hot among especially conservative Republicans is the SAVE Act. That a lot of people see what's happening around the country, and they also see how election integrity is so vital right now, especially when you look at what happened in California with Pratt and everything. John Thune is catching a lot of heat, and probably deservedly so, especially after what happened with Scott Pressler in South Dakota Friday. We even had a caller call in earlier who wants Thune out, and they want you to be the Senate president. So give us your take on what's happening with the SAVE Act. You guys are on break once again. You'll be back for a few days and then another break. Can this thing actually pass?
Well, let's first define the SAVE Act. We talk about it. What's it mean? It's really a pretty simple bill. I'm a co-sponsor. Now, the president's added some stuff to it, but it basically means you have to prove you are who you say you are in order to vote. That means vote with ID. That means you can't register to vote unless you're an American citizen. And then it says we ought to go back to having an election day, not an election month. We ought to know, however you vote, we ought to know on election night who the winner is. I'm co-sponsor. We've tried it in the Senate, I don't know, 4 times, 5 times. I offered it as an amendment to the reconciliation bill. I only got 47 votes. I've encouraged John, Senator Thune, the majority leader, who has control of the floor. Nothing can come to the floor without Senator Thune's permission to put the SAVE Act on the FISA bill, because that's a must-pass bill. Senator Lee had an idea about 3 or 4 months ago. He what he calls a talking filibuster, where you put it on the floor and we all talk, debate it, and theoretically the Democrats eventually give in. It didn't work. I'm willing to try it again, though. Speaker Johnson, Mike Johnson, wants to put it on a new reconciliation bill, and I think the Speaker's right. I think it's hard to get something passed parliamentary, and so we're trying. I don't know what else to do, but we're going to keep trying until we pass it, and I think we'll eventually pass it. In terms of the Scott Presler thing, I don't really know Mr. Presler. I don't spend as much time on social media because I just don't have it. But if he had a ticket to the event, they should let him in. And I don't know what else to say about that. I don't know the details of it.
Well, you're saying that a caller wanted you to be Senate president, but I'm hearing rumors that you might be looking for a presidential run in 28.
Oh man, I was in New Hampshire. Raising money for John Sununu, who's running for seat for us and run for Senate for us. And I did a pretty famous political show. And I said, look, I'm running for re-election in Louisiana. I love being a senator. But, if a bunch of goobers run for president and I think I can do a better job, I'd consider it. Well, that's all it took, man. They were off like a shot. They were off like a rabbit running with that story. So, it is what it is.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Well, look, I'm a politician, man. I am what I am. I admit it. They never say no. We never say no. But my plans are to run for re-election in the United States Senate for Louisiana because my people in the state are the best people in the world.
I know we're running out of time here, and I had a caller text me, and I told him I would try to get his question on. He wanted to ask
Let's do his question, and then I got to run into this meeting.
Okay, real quick then. He was asking about, everyone kind of knows before you used to be a Democrat, then you changed to Republican.
Huh?
So he just wanted you to kind of reiterate why you switched. And did you change only after the majority in the state had kind of changed?
I don't remember what year I switched. 2005, 6. Hard for some people to remember, but there was a time in Louisiana when party didn't really matter. Right. In the early 2000s. And I was a Democrat. Everybody used to be a Democrat at one point. Eventually, I was state treasurer. Eventually, the party started changing. I was kind of a pariah in the Democratic Party because I was pretty conservative, especially fiscally. And they were mean to me, and they didn't want me around. And when I had to pass a bill in the legislature, I was working with Republicans. And finally, one day I said, look, I'm just going to switch to the Republican Party. I'm more aligned with them because the Democrats are going crazy. And it was right. I remember it was right before one of my elections for treasurer because I did it before the election so people would know. And I still won. And that's why I did it,
Fair.
And that's it.
All right. Well, we appreciate it. Now, we wish we had as much time as Theo Vaughn has to talk with you, but people.
Oh, man, Theo's like an hour and a half or 2 hours. It's like an endurance contest.
This might be the greatest video on the internet. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah.
But it's. I don't know if it's up yet, but Theo's fun. We had a great time. But I'll tell you one thing: you better go to the bathroom before you start, because you're gonna be there for about an hour and a half or two. And we covered everything under the sun and on God's green earth. But it was a lot of fun.
Like race car drivers, you have to wear like those adult diapers while you're on his show.
Depends.
Yeah, he is the Prime Minister of cool.
That's right.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you, Senator.
Everybody.
Yes, sir.
God bless
Appreciate
you
you.
both.
Yes, sir. You
Yes, sir.
too.
Bye bye.
All right, Senator John Kennedy. Always appreciate that he's willing to give us his time, and it's precious, it's valuable, and we appreciate that he calls the show.
Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show, is now everywhere you are. Talkback is now streaming live on X at Cenla Update, plus Facebook and YouTube at KSYL.
Attention all real estate agents, property owners, and lenders. When you or a client needs a real estate attorney, call the professionals at Thompson Law Firm. Whether the legal matter is basic or complex, the Thompson Law Firm can accurately guide you or your client to a successful outcome. That's why numerous industry professionals have trusted the Thompson Law Firm for years. They also handle estate planning, successions, and business law. Call them at 473-0052. I am a paid non-client attorney spokesperson.
What's good for lunch? Wilmore's is good for lunch. Wilmore's Mobile and Sub Express on the corner of North MacArthur and Bayou Rapides Road. Want a fresh, crisp, healthy salad? Wilmore's has them. Garden and chef salads, tuna or chicken salads. Prefer a sandwich for lunch? Then come get them hot or cold at Wilmore's. Ham, turkey, or roast beef subs, Italian, chicken, and club subs. And their hamburger is a real standout. Your good lunch is waiting at Wilmore's Mobile and Sub Express on North MacArthur Drive at Bayou Rapides Road.
The Greenhouse presents Dogs in the Back of Pickups. If you must drive with your dog in the pickup bed behind you, here are a few tips. The best option is to place your dog in a crate with a cushioned floor and strap it down securely. If that's not possible, put the dog in a harness with a short tether to limit the dog's mobility and ensure safety from strangulation. And of course, drive safely to avoid quick stops and turns. The Greenhouse.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BOM Bank Talk line at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BOM Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
Now back to Talkback, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
All right, we're back with you here on this Monday morning. Al Quartermont, Stephen Maxwell. So glad that you could all be with us here today, and very pleased to have with us in studio gentlemen we had on, gosh, was it 2 years ago? We had you on to talk about
almost.
Yeah, we were talking about your experiences in Iraq and with Homeland Security, and it is retired Army Colonel Mark Carey. And you're now with the Natchitoches Council, correct?
Yeah, I'm a council member for the Natchitoches Parish Council. It used to be a police jury, and they did a home rule charter a few years ago, and it's a council and president form of government. And I represent the 5th District, which is the southernmost part, but it's the largest one. It goes from Marco to Mora to Mink to Marthaville, surrounded by Grant Parish, Rapides Parish, Vernon Parish, and Sabine.
All right. Sounds like gerrymandering. Something like that anyway. Well, no, the reason we have you in today is last week on the show, we had Dr. Paul Correll here for LSUA. His last day as chancellor, and now he's officially retired, which I know you know a little something about. But he brought up this topic of the Louisiana maneuvers and how plans are in the works, or at least discussions are being had about establishing a museum that would be housed out at LSUA. And a friend of mine reached out and said, hey, I heard you guys talking about this. I know somebody that's involved in this. And he said, you need to have him on your show. So happened to be you, and that's why you're here today. So good morning.
Yeah. Hey, good morning. Thanks. Thanks for having me here, first of all. And I want to thank Chuck Cohen, representative from Leesville, and Senator Heather Cloud for pushing Senate Concurrent Resolution 75 through, because that kind of gets this thing kicked off and going. And I also want to thank the Secretary of the Louisiana Department of Veterans Affairs, Charlton McGinley. He's retired colonel, and Representatives Jason DeWitt and Gabe Furman were also involved. And so basically the SCR 75 states under museums, it directs the Louisiana Department of Culture, Recreation, and Tourism in consultation with the Louisiana State Museum Board and the National World War II Museum to conduct a study on the feasibility of establishing a museum and trail dedicated to the Louisiana maneuvers. So let me give you a little background here. The Louisiana maneuvers occurred in September 1941. There was also in Carolina, but it prepared the United States Army to go and win World War II. It shaped, groomed, and developed organizational skills, organizational structure, senior leadership, command ability, and officers like Eisenhower, Patton, Vinegar, Joe Stilwell, Mark Clark, Walt Kruger. All those guys were here. They actually slept in the Hotel Bentley when they met and talked, and they had a secret meeting at Ashe High School. They had forced 500,000 soldiers, over 3,500 square miles in Louisiana, from Shreveport to Lake Charles, all the way towards Winfield. And so all this took place here, but as time goes on, we lose our memory of the stories that everybody involved. And so I want to be able to preserve that. And so I started pushing with Secretary McGinley and General Freelou with the Louisiana National Guard. There is a museum in Camp Beauregard, but as you all know, a museum on a military base is not accessible. Mm-hmm. And he agrees that we should have some sort of museum. Now, where it is, I know you mentioned the LSUA, it's not, no place has been designated. In fact, that's what the whole idea is, that LSUA would study the issue and come up with a recommendation on one, where the museum would go and what the Louisiana Maneuvers Trail would look like. Okay. Because granted, the museum itself would talk about the maneuvers, which were the prelude to World War II, and World War II Museum in New Orleans would have the main war, but this would be the sort of prequel before you go see the movie, and you would learn of the personalities involved here. And so the trail, though, however, could be anywhere. I mean, you're talking about a lot of towns involved: Alexandria, Natchitoches. There's a Red River crossing at Grand Ecore. I remember when I was a child, my grandparents, both my maternal and paternal grandparents, would tell me stories. And Bayou Pierre, they go, "Oh, that cypress tree right there." Ike's staff car stopped, and his driver got out and ate pancakes with Uncle Carson.
Wow.
And I said, "You sure?" They go, "Well, yeah, it was the bald-headed colonel, you know." Well, he was the chief of staff for the Blue Army. And he was only a colonel. Patton was a general, had 2nd Armored Division. And so the luminaries were just all throughout the area. Now, Eisenhower gained a lot of fame because his boss, General Walt Kruger, was a Prussian. I mean, he literally came from Prussia, and he had a German accent, you know, so he wouldn't speak to the press. And when the press showed up, I got out there and spoke to him. So he was well known to the press, and an impressive person and a very sharp organizer. And General Marshall would keep a book, called his little black book, with all the officers' names, who should rise and who should fall. And they said, "Move Ike up higher, you know, he's a good officer." And so all these things happen, and there's so many stories about this great Army maneuver. So you got to visualize 500,000 people going bang, bang at each other.
Yeah.
Okay, this is long before what we have in the Army today. We have a MILES system, multiple use integrated laser engagement system. It's laser tag.
Right.
So if I shoot you and you're in a tank and I got a rifle, it doesn't kill the tank because the lasers realize it. But now the tank shoots me, it says you're blown to bits, you know. I mean, so they didn't have that, so they had to employ all these umpires with these little signs, whether or not you died or not. And I mean, how do you adjudicate every engagement? Wow. I mean, how do you adjudicate a sniper on a hill that engages a target 2,000 meters away? I mean, you can't do it. Yeah. So, but a good story about that, Ike would tell it later, is that he said, you know, they blew up a bridge. So the controllers, evaluators went out there and put signs on the bridge, said the bridge is blown. bridge is blown. Okay, soldiers. And this sergeant is crossing the river, and he jumps on the bridge and runs across it. And the evaluators are screaming, "Sergeant, can't you see this bridge is blown?" He said, "Well, sir, can't you see I'm swimming?"
There's got to be, I'm sure, a million stories, and that would be the value of having a museum like this. So we have Mark Carey with us. We need to take a break. We'll come back and tell you more about the plans.
Taking part in the show is easy. Call the BOM Bank Talk line at 442-8255.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Positivity on Wall Street as we kick off the holiday shortened week. Major developments in media. Comcast spinning off NBC Universal and Sky into a new publicly traded company as it separates media from cable TV and internet. We spent a lot of money on Amazon Prime days. Adobe says online spending across all retailers in the U.S. hit $26.4 billion during last week's sale, up 9.3% from a year ago, but that doesn't mean business was great for Amazon. Numerator says the average household spent only $143 during the 4-day event on Amazon, down 8.3% from last year. And the peptide craze may be about to get even crazier. Demand for restricted peptides already fueling an online gray market for injections that promise youth, beauty, and strength. Now the FDA's Pharmacy Compounding Advisory Committee is looking at greenlighting 7 unapproved peptides for compounding pharmacies to use. Telehealth companies are poised to expand to sell them to you. Denise Pellegrini, Bloomberg Radio.
When you think of real estate, one name is at the top of the list: Ritchie Real Estate. Matt and his team are experts when buying and selling homes, businesses, land, leases, or even industrial buildings. And at Ritchie Real Estate, they can even handle all of your property management needs. They make the entire process easy and as stress-free as possible. They are your full-service choice for anything in real estate. Trust the professionals and find them online at ritchierealestate.com.
Tell me, who remembers this phone number?
442-6657.
The company you've trusted for years, Israel Air, is passing down all its quality services to the next generation. Their new name is Israel and Melder Air Conditioning and Heating, and they're still all about your comfort. So stay cool all summer long with a system checkup. Don't just swelter. Call Israel and Melder, serving all of Central Louisiana with quality and integrity. Ladies, could I have that number one more time?
442-6657.
Good morning. Some clouds to start us out this morning. They'll give way to sunny skies later on today. Afternoon highs near 95 degrees. That heat index possibly as high as 103 to 105. Be careful if you have to be out of that. Winds out of the south-southeast, by the way, at about 5 to 10. Clear skies tonight. We'll get down to 74. And on Tuesday, no major changes. Sunny, hot, and humid with the afternoon high temperatures near 95. From the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Gratian.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. Now back to Talk Back.
And we are back on your Monday. Alan Stephen with you. Our guest is Mark Carey. We've been talking about the potential for a museum for the Louisiana maneuvers. So would we say that you said that there was some legislation that has passed, and that's basically just authorizing the study of this at this point?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So they're basically studying, what to do about it. There's no money attached to it. Mm-hmm. And so Secretary McGinley asked LSUA if they'd be willing to participate. And my understanding is Dr. Correll said yes, and Dr. Beard, of course, also. And so what we're hoping is that we can do a kickoff fairly soon, a kickoff meeting, and perhaps have LSUA and Dr. Sanson and Richard Moran, who is the director at the Camp Beauregard Museum, and hopefully I would be there, and we would have some sort of understanding of the research design that would be made to study this issue. Obviously, they're going to have to answer the question, what is it? What does it look like? What's the trail? The scheme of maneuver is for the trail. What's the concept of the operation? Where's it going to go? And what's the scope of it? How big is it going to be? And because obviously there are a number of evaluative things that needs to go into this, like proximity to an interstate would have a lot to do with, I would think. The ability to attract tourists would be that. Whether or not there's a contribution from locals, the geographical historicity, let's just say, what happened there. Mm-hmm. I guess, and Alexandria has a claim to a lot of things Camp Beauregard, Livingston, Claiborne, Essler Field, and then down the road, Camp Polk. And then you had the Hotel Bentley where the officers stayed, and then the secret meeting Patton and some of them at Alexandria Senior High School, where they tried to wrestle the doctrine from the infantry and make it to where tanks kill tanks.
Wow.
Because used to infantry killed tanks, and of course we also had the horse cavalry was still in Louisiana in 1941, and a horse cavalryman will release his horse when you pry it from his dead cold fingers. That's just the way that they operated back then. And Patton saw it in World War I, how the tank had basically made it obsolete somewhat. And so, but getting doctrine moved to the Army is a whole nother process. So Patton had a meeting. Anyway, he got to Chief of Staff Marshall, and he realized the wisdom. They still had issues in World War II figuring out what tank destroyer units did and tanks did.
Right.
And that eventually got eliminated in what we see today as the armor branch within the Army. Everybody knows the biggest tank killer in the battlefield is a tank, but that wasn't what was thought back then.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty incredible how quickly it advanced during World War II, because it had to. There had to be some adaptability, even just the emergence of the Air Force, for example.
Yeah, exactly. And you got to realize, I mean, when they started the maneuvers, it was a tiny, before then it was a tiny army, and Marshall would see the war looming. I mean, after all, he took over in September of 39 as the Chief of Staff of the Army. Well, guess what happened in that month? Poland was invaded by Germany. So he sees war looming on the horizon, and he's trying to get the Senate and the Congress, and by the way, passed by one vote, a small, limited conscription for a short period. But he saw the way to expand the Army was not take the existing Army's divisional structure, which was pretty small, and it expanded it because he couldn't handle that kind of scope the millions were going to need. So he took the National Guard and said, this is how we'll grow the Army. The National Guard divisions will fight the war. And so he expanded on the National Guard concept. In fact, if you go to World War II Museum, you look on the wall, they're National Guard divisions that won the war. I mean, I'm not saying the regular Army units didn't. They did great service, but the bulk of the fight was from the National Guard.
Speaking of the World War II Museum down in New Orleans, are they on board with this? Are they supportive of this idea?
That's a great question. In fact, I called the president, and he referred me to retired Colonel Pete Crane. And Pete, I spoke with him, and I found out he's a War College graduate, Army War College, about 7 years behind me, though. And so we had a great conversation. I explained the vision, and he absolutely for it. I mean, he says, this is a great idea. We're not going to get in the way. In fact, we'll help you. Just not sure how that's going to work out, but he's certainly all on board for that.
That's good.
Could it be like an extension of that as part of that, or what are you thinking?
Well, we think there'd be some sort of tie-in. We don't know if they'll be on the board or how that's going to work, but we want to synchronize our activities where we don't overlap. You know, where we don't want to be, we won't be the Louisiana Maneuvers wing of the World War II Museum up here. That's not, but we want to not overlap and not take space from them. And so I think if we focused on the personalities and the stories of the communities around here and make it a Louisiana story, and then you get this prequel and you get to see the main event in New Orleans. And hopefully we would direct traffic for them to have more people in New Orleans.
And vice versa.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's so many like pieces of, I guess, World War II history that are just ingrained in Alexandria and Central Louisiana. We just don't even remotely know about, like MacArthur Drive, for existence.
Yes.
You know, and the way, I've been told, like the way the service roads and then MacArthur Drive is set up is because of that, for military traffic and, you know.
Yeah, Alexandria, Central Louisiana is rich in military history. I mean, you could tell 1,000 stories about the units that were formed here. I mean, the 82nd Airborne Division, just everything that took place here. It's just astonishing. And places like Camp Polk, I mean, they put a camp in the middle of nowhere. And when you put that many soldiers in the middle of nowhere with nothing to do, it causes some issues there, you know? I mean, soldiers with a little free time,
Yeah.
It's dangerous. And so this area is just rich with history. But again, as successive generations go by, we're losing those stories.
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you, my daughters probably couldn't tell you the stories about Ike and my other grandparents telling me that the house where I grew up, it was owned by my grandparents and they lived there. And they said during the maneuvers one night, they were bivouacking on the property. So all the soldiers are, battalions worth of soldiers, like 500 soldiers nearby. And she said it started to rain, so the soldiers crawled under the house to get out of the rain. Some of them did, and the officers were huddled on the front porch looking at the map. She said the next morning they pulled out, and they were all gone, and Grandpa's walking around the house, and he hears snoring. A soldier got left behind under the house.
Oh, no.
So he woke the young man up, and of course he's scared to death because he missed movement, a court-martial offense. And he goes, "Sir, I'll give you money if you just take me to my unit." He goes, "Son, just calm down. It'll be okay." I could just see Grandpa now. He didn't rush. And the poor soldier scared to death. So they drove around for a couple hours till he found his divisional patch, and he ran out there and he rejoined his guys. He tried to pay my grandfather. He said, No, you're not paying me. Just stories are like that abound.
Yeah, definitely. Amazing. I know Kurt Isles is a local author. He's done a lot of work in that aspect.
I know Kurt. Yes, great guy.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so what's kind of the next step with this? What do we kind of need to keep our eyes on?
Well, hopefully we'll have some sort of kickoff meeting for this thing. And then, of course, the study will be conducted. Then after the study's conducted, evaluate the results and then move forward with legislation to actually pay for the implementation of this and then have it implemented. And hopefully it will come to fruition one day, and you'll have a big museum around here and a trail that you can drive on and some hubs where you can stop and go see interpretive signs and markings like, say, the Civil War historic trails in Virginia.
Awesome. Well, I hope it comes to fruition. Mark Carey, thank you so much for stopping in today. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Taking part in the show is easy. Call the BOM Bank Talk Line at 442-8255.
Remember when eating corn right off the cob was one of your favorite summertime treats? Or how about taking a big bite out of a crisp, fresh apple? If it's been a while since you enjoyed these delightful activities, chances are your teeth are no longer up for the task. But now there's great news. The folks over at Today's Dental in Pineville are Cenla's dental implant experts. They're both highly trained and experienced in the procedure. Now with thousands of completely satisfied, delighted patients. They make dental implant surgery simple by using today's most current technologies. Along with in-office IV sedation administered by a highly skilled certified nurse anesthetist, you'll be in and out before you know it, without all the anxiety. Plus, at Today's Dental, their multiple finance options make the entire procedure truly affordable. Go back to crunching all your favorite foods. Give Today's Dental a call at 448-4540. It's a general dental facility on Highway 28 East in Pineville, owned by Dr. Jonas Goche. That's 448-4540.
Hello, I'm Sarah Kramer of Kramer Funeral Home. Funerals don't just signify that a life has ended. They celebrate that a life was lived and loved. At Kramer Funeral Home, we understand the importance of celebrating a life well lived. And since no two people are alike, no two funerals should be alike. We will assist you step by step in creating a meaningful service that honors your loved one's unique life. Let us, the staff at Kramer Funeral Home, be your personal guide.
Hi, I'm Nancy Landry. No matter what part of our great state you call home, Louisiana's elections are an important part of who we are. In 2026, closed party primaries will change how some of those elections happen, so you'll want to know what to do. Keeping your registration current ensures you'll get the right party-based ballot. Remember, this change only applies to certain offices. To learn more, visit govote.com or download the GoVote app.
Paid for by the Louisiana Secretary of State's office. It's Talkback, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
All right, I want to thank again retired Colonel Mark Carey, our guest here on Talkback. I really hope that comes to fruition. That sounds like it'd be an amazing addition for our community, and hopefully it'll happen.
Yeah, it would be really, really cool, and I would love to hear the stories too and see it in the museum.
Definitely. All right, let's go back to the phone lines on the BOM Bank Talk line. Good morning, you're on Talkback.
Hey, I hate to correct you on something, but you said John Fleming lost his home parish of Caddo Parish. His home parish is Webster Parish, and he carried Webster Parish.
Gotcha. Okay,
Thanks.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Minden's in Webster. I thought it was in Caddo or in Bossier.
I don't know. Yeah.
Caddo Parish, Jamie Davis got the most votes. He by far, he beat Fleming and Letlow both.
Not surprised there. Yeah, he's right. It's in Webster. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you for that. That's why we have a great audience, able to catch our little gaffes and mistakes.
Went to Minden last year. Cute little place.
Yeah. Yes. All right. So, I wanted to bring this up. So, as we know, World Cup is going on right now, right? And there is a song that's sweeping the internet right now. Have you ever heard of Shy Hippie Girl?
No.
Is that one of your favorite artists?
No. Can't say I do.
All right. So she has a song on TikTok called The Best Sleepover Ever.
Oh, my God.
And it's in tribute to the World Cup. Take a listen.
Showed up on Friday with backpacks and flags. Some brought family recipes, some brought jokes and laughs. Brazil brought the music, Scotland brought the pipes, Mexico brought enough food to keep us up all night. Japan brought kindness, Australia brought cheer, and somebody from Argentina already stole my beer. The couch was full, the floor was too. Nobody cared, we made more room. Too late, trading songs and stories across every state. Best sleepover ever. Nobody wanted it to end. Started out as strangers, ended up as friends.
It's a catchy little song, isn't it?
Sounds like AI.
Oh, is it?
It could. I mean, it may not be. It sounds like it.
Yeah.
But I'm always skeptical these days.
Kind of have to be. But it's still a good song.
We kind of missed some of that here in Louisiana, I think. The World Cup fervor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you could see it on social media.
Yeah, and the cool thing about the song is the video with it. It just has all these images of people that are in America right now from these foreign countries. And it hasn't been lost on me that you have people from around the world who are coming here and just enjoying America and celebrating America. And it kind of raises the question, why are the people that have been coming here as immigrants, in many cases, not legal immigrants either, but for various reasons, why do they come here and hate America? Or at least try to transform it to be like the countries they came from?
I think that's some, but it's not, I would say the majority. I don't know. There's a lot that love it, that come here. They came here for a reason.
Yeah. No, and I think that is what we as Americans love, is if you're coming here to experience and live the American dream, great. If you're coming here to feed from the trough and game the system, please go back. Please never come here to begin with. And therein lies the rub.
Yeah. I know a lot that love being here and they work hard to stay here. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What about the Americans that feed off the trough too? Can we?
Ooh, valid. Valid, as the kids say.
But no, it's good. I mean, I've been seeing the videos of all the Japanese people coming here and enjoying the Texas barbecue and all the other ones. I know there's some places in Texas where they're doing some touristy things where they're like, we'll take you out on some four-wheelers and trucks and some horses, and feed you barbecue and drink beer afterwards, and show them some of America in different places. What I'm a big fan of is seeing the Norway chant.
Yes,
that's been a good one.
Yeah,
that's been a fun one.
So are you actually watching World Cup now?
No. I'm not again. If America, if they play in the knockout rounds, I guess they are coming up. I'll try and catch some of that. If they make it to like the round of 16 or 8, I might actually watch the match. But I'm just not huge on soccer.
Yeah.
So I'm not against it.
Right. I hear you. This is Norway, by the way. They were doing that in Times Square.
It's pretty good.
So, like hundreds of them doing, kind of looks like they're rowing.
It is. It's like the Skull Viking.
Yeah.
Minnesota Vikings chant.
Yeah.
Almost exactly.
Only not annoying, like the Vikings.
Yeah, they're stupid.
Skull. It's like, shut up. Win a Super Bowl and then you can do it.
It's like the Packers stupid stuff, like cheeseheads.
Yeah.
Those are stupid.
Argentina, their fans are cool. I mean, just all of them that you see these videos pop up just crack me up. Great stuff.
You know what the dumbest chant of all time is? Fly, Eagles, fly. That's stupid. Like, that's so dumb.
You feel about Eagles fans the way I feel about Cubs fans.
They're about the same.
The dumbest chant is when the Cubs win and they sing that stupid Go Cubs Go song.
I will say from personal experience, when we went to the Cubs game 10 years ago, was it?
Yeah.
Has it been 10 years? Goodness
2015.
gracious. They suck. They suck, man. They're mean.
Obnoxious and annoying.
Yeah. Like, you go to New Orleans and Saints fans are loud and obnoxious, but they're fun.
Yeah. Right.
Like Philly and Cubs fans, they're just mean, man.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we got to take our last break.
Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show, is now everywhere you are. Talkback is now streaming live on X at Sedla Update, plus Facebook and YouTube at KSYL.
You don't have to drive hundreds of miles to have a great vacation.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser, inviting you to explore all the great destinations right here in Louisiana.
From stunning natural beauty, campsites with unforgettable views, rich history, and flavors and sounds that feed your soul. You'll find all this right here in Louisiana. Go to louisianastaycation.com and start planning your trip today.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Monday's AFR, presented by Relief Windows. We'll have all the highlights from the Manning Passing Academy, and we'll start to count you down to SEC Football Media Days. Join us Monday, 3 to 6. Alexandria's 94.7 ESPN.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. Talk back.
All right, we're back, and it is our last segment of the morning. Big day to watch the Supreme Court today, as 3 possible rulings that could drop. One concerns birthright citizenship. You might remember President Trump signed an executive order on his first day back in office, ending the automatic citizenship for babies born to parents here illegally or on temporary visas. Every lower court blocked that. Now the Supreme Court is deciding if they side with the president. Roughly 255,000 babies born per year will no longer receive automatic citizenship. So basically the concept has been you set foot on U.S. soil, pop out a kid who can be an American citizen. All right, mail-in ballots. The RNC is asking the court to rule that ballots must be received by Election Day, not just postmarked. Over a dozen states currently count late arriving mail-in ballots. Republicans argue if Election Day means anything, it has to mean something. It's not just about one race. It's about whether elections will have a set finish line. And then lastly would be transgender athlete bans. Roughly half the states have passed laws protecting girls' sports from biological males competing. The court's conservative majority signaled during oral arguments that they are likely to uphold those bans. A win there would not just protect women's sports, it would send a message that common sense still has a seat at the table. So a lot going on. If you remember, on Friday, they dropped some rulings as well, one of which was kind of ending a program which granted people from Syria and Haiti status to be here in the country, protected status. And justices say that those protections can end. So possibility that those people will be sent back to where they are from. Mondami and others have said they might make sanctuary cities for those people. So we might have a little standoff there.
I keep telling people the way to solve this problem, just create the American monarchical system, and we wouldn't have to worry about these elections and all these people. For all those ones that heard me say that in the past, I was totally joking, by the way. I'm facetious. But it would help.
No kings. We don't believe in a king.
Yeah, we could have a good king, and it'd be great, and then we'll just have to suffer through the despots. You know, if we make it through that, then hopefully we get a good one later. It'll be okay.
All right.
You'll have your Neros in there, and we'll get through it. On
this date, 47 years ago, Meatballs premiered in theaters. One of the all-time great summer camp movies. You ever see it?
Nope, I know what you're talking about, though.
You need to watch it. You do need to watch it.
I'll check it out.
Don't tell me that it just doesn't matter. Because it does.
I'll watch it.
All right. Anyway, we're out of time. Hey, Nathan will be back tomorrow with Steven. Who? I think some guy from Colombia. I'll talk with you Wednesday. Have a good one.